To Washington now, President Trump saying he's going to nominate a new Supreme Court justice by the end of the week. The Democrats are saying they'll do just about anything they can to stop that person taking a seat on the court. And this political battle, a bitter political battle, has begun in the last few days after the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Friday. She'd spent 27 years on the Supreme Court, and today it was confirmed her body will lie in state inside the US Capitol building on Friday. Now, according to her granddaughter, Justice Ginsburg made a dying wish. Here's the senior Democrat Chuck Schumer on what it was.
She said, "My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced by until a new president is installed."
Well, President Trump has suggested the Democrats made that quote up, though there's no evidence to back up that claim. And we know that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had been extremely critical of Donald Trump. She was also the leading liberal member of the Supreme Court, and the makeup of the Supreme Court is of huge importance. It often has the final say on matters of enormous importance to Americans, from abortion to election disputes. And because each justice is appointed for life, each selection impacts Americans for years. Before Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, 5 justices had been appointed by Republican presidents, 4 by Democratic presidents. If Donald Trump's nominee is successful, though, that would give the court a strong conservative majority, 6-3. So the stakes are very high. Here's the American law professor, Lawrence Douglas.
And we should also bear in mind that the Supreme Court right now is presently constituted until Justice Ginsburg's death. It was already a very conservative Supreme Court, probably the most conservative Supreme Court that the United States has seen since 1937 or so, since the early days of the Roosevelt administration.
Now, this debate over whether the Senate should vote on a new justice this close to November's election immediately takes us back to 2016 and a similar battle towards the end of President Obama's second term. In February of that year, Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia died. President Obama nominated this man, Merrick Garland, to succeed him, but Republicans refused to hold confirmation hearings, saying the Senate should not vote on Supreme Court nominations in a presidential election year. This was the Republican Senate leader, Mitch McConnell, at the time.
The American people are perfectly capable of having their say on this issue. So let's give them a voice. Let's let the American people decide.
Mitch McConnell is still the Republican Senate leader, and perhaps it won't surprise you to know that his position's evolved. This is what he said a couple of days ago. President Trump's nominee will receive a vote on the floor of the US Senate. Another Republican who's changed his mind is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham. This weekend he said he was dead set on confirming Donald Trump's nominee. This was Lindsey Graham in 2016.
I want you to use my words against me. If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination. And you could use my words against me and you'd be absolutely right.
And of course, the Democrats have been doing just that. In fact, Chuck Schumer has been making a range of counter-arguments over the weekend. In one, he said the American people should have a voice in the selection of their next Supreme Court justice. Therefore, this vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president. And if that sounds at all familiar, it's deliberately so. It's a word-for-word copy of a tweet Mitch McConnell put out in 2016. But Republicans are saying the Democrats have also changed their mind. Here's Senator Ted Cruz.
We had this fight at the end of the Barack Obama term, and at the time, all the Democrats were saying, confirm the nominee, and all the Republicans were saying, we're not going to confirm the nominee.
Senator Cruz went on to say why he believes this time it's different.
And there's a big difference in the Senate with whether the Senate is of the same party of the president or a different party of the president. When the Senate has been of the same party of the president, a vacancy occurs in an election year, of the 29 times, those are 19 of them. Of those 19, the Senate has confirmed those nominees 17 times. So if the parties are the same, the Senate confirms the nominee. When the parties are different, that's happened 10 times. Merrick Garland was one of them. Of those 10, the Senate has confirmed the nominees only twice.
Well, it is certainly true that this time around the president and a majority of the Senate are from the same party. The Republicans currently control the Senate by 53 to 47. However, 2 Republican senators have already shifted on this issue. Susan Collins says she won't vote on a new justice before Election Day. Lisa Murkowski has gone even further, saying she won't vote on a nominee until after Inauguration Day. And of course, the Democrats are trying to get more Republicans to switch sides. Here's Chuck Schumer again.
And we only need 2 more senators to say that they will abide by RBG's wish. 2 have already said it, we need 2 more. So Americans, if you care about all these rights, if you don't want big, powerful, wealthy special interests to turn the clock back, 100 years even, please, our fervent plea, our fervent wish is that you call your senator and say, abide by the wishes of this saintly, brilliant, caring woman.
Well, let's bring in the BBC's Gary O'Donoghue, who's just by the Supreme Court in Washington. Gary, a whole range of opinions on this, but who actually decides whether the Senate will get a vote or not?
Well, the leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, gets to decide that. He runs the table because he runs the majority. The process is that there will be hearings in the Judiciary Committee. That's run by a Republican as well, Lindsey Graham, who you saw in that series of clips saying, hold me to it. If there is a vacancy in this year, we shouldn't do it. But he is planning to hold those hearings. So they get to choose. Now, there could be all sorts of delaying tactics that Democrats can indulge in. They've threatened some of those, indeed. But essentially, the Republicans hold all the trump cards here, and they get to decide when it happens.
And if they do decide they want to go ahead before the election, and we've seen previous nomination processes on Capitol Hill become bitter and reasonably long-winded as well, is there time, is there actually the days available to get this done?
Yeah, I think there is. Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself was nominated in around 6 weeks or so, and there's about that to go until Election Day. I mean, effectively, all that really has to happen, Ros, is that there has to be a vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee that has a Republican majority, as I said before, and then a vote on the floor of the House. So the process can be as quick or as long as you want it to be. Senators across the spectrum will want a chance to quiz the nominee, and indeed most senators will want to do that, not just on the committee itself, that's the tradition, but of course tradition gets torn up in these sorts of circumstances. So I think that could happen. The calculation really for Mitch McConnell is not really what the Democrats are thinking, it's what his own side is thinking. And you've heard there 2 Republican senators already saying they don't think there should be a vote before the election. Question is, will there be more? Will Mitt Romney from Utah say the same? Will Cory Gardner in Colorado say the same? If you get 4 who are against it, then the majority in the Senate flips 51-49 in favour of the Democrats. Then Mitch McConnell has a real problem.
OK, Gary, stay with us. We're coming back to you in a moment because President Trump's already pledged to nominate a woman to this vacancy on the Supreme Court. Here are some of the front runners. Amy Coney Barrett is a judge on the Circuit Court of Appeals. She's 48 and previously served as a clerk for the Conservative Justice Antonin Scalia. Barbara Lagoa also served on the Circuit Court of Appeals. She's a 52-year-old Cuban-American, and while she's considered a staunch conservative, she received strong bipartisan support at her confirmation hearing. Another name in the mix is Appeals Court Judge Alison Rushing. She'd be particularly controversial because she's only 38 years old. Gary, help us understand the criteria which Donald Trump and the people advising him will be looking at when they consider the options here.
Well, the first criterion he's already set out is that it has to be a woman who gets the nomination this time around. He said that. The other criteria will be clearly based around conservatism, around the fact that the president has made a big thing about appointing conservative judges at the federal level and also at the Supreme Court level. So someone with good conservative credentials will be a big favourite for him and for his supporters, because this is a huge motivating factor out there among evangelical voters, conservative voters. A lot of them, Ros, feel that Washington as a sort of legislative place does not work. They feel a lot of the culture wars in America are to be found and fought in the country's courts, right up to the Supreme Court. And that's why judges matter to those voters.